The morning air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of the ocean below the floating city. Ilara had risen early, as was her habit, and walked along the balcony where the city stretched in perfect harmony beneath the twin suns. Kale had remained in their quarters, quietly preparing for the day. There was a calm confidence in him that made her feel secure, even when rumors of unrest from distant sectors reached the city. Ilara's peace, however, would soon shatter. Word arrived mid-morning. A rogue alien faction had breached the outer patrols. Their ships moved swiftly through the skies, cloaked in shadows that flickered unnaturally against the sunlight. The city's alarm systems blared and sirens echoed through the towers, calling all citizens to safety. Panic rippled through the populace, yet Kale moved with deliberate calm. He came to her side without haste, taking her hand with reassurance. "Stay close to me," he said, voice steady, eyes scanning the horizon. "I will protect you." Ilara felt her heart tighten. She had trusted Kale before, had seen glimpses of his extraordinary skill, but nothing prepared her for what was about to unfold. The city guards moved into position, energy blades and shields at the ready, while the alien invaders' ships hovered ominously, their strange engines humming with a low, threatening frequency. The first strike came without warning. Energy beams cut through the sky, targeting key defensive towers. The city's shields flared as they absorbed the hits, but Ilara could see the strain. The outer defenses would not hold for long. She clutched Kale's hand, feeling the warmth and strength in his grip. He did not speak, only nodded toward the nearest tower, signaling her to follow. They moved quickly through the corridors, joining other citizens and guards who were evacuating to secure areas. Kale's awareness was unmatched. He seemed to anticipate every obstacle, every potential threat. Ilara noticed the way he adjusted his stance, eyes flicking to every shadow, every movement. It was as if he were already seeing the battle unfold before it began. Then, amidst the chaos, she saw it. A small group of invaders had breached a lower platform, targeting civilians who could not escape in time. Kale reached the edge of the corridor and, without hesitation, drew his blade. The weapon gleamed with a strange light unlike any technology she had ever seen. Its edge shimmered, reflecting the suns above, and the air around it seemed to hum with energy. Ilara gasped. She had seen him handle training blades before, but nothing like this. Kale's movements were calm yet precise, every step calculated. He advanced toward the invaders, who paused, sensing something beyond their understanding. The blade moved in a blur as Kale struck, disarming them effortlessly. It was not just skill, it was artistry. Each motion deliberate, each strike perfectly timed. She watched, unable to tear her eyes away as Kale fought. The invaders came at him with speed and aggression, but he remained calm, his every movement controlled. One by one, they fell back or were incapacitated, their weapons useless against the quiet human who moved like a storm contained within still waters. Ilara's heart raced. She had known him as a man of calm words and quiet observation, but now she saw the depth of his strength. This was a side of him the world had never seen, a hidden power that emerged only when necessary. She felt a surge of pride and awe, realizing that the man she had married was not just her companion. He was her protector, a force that could stand against even the most formidable foes. The battle intensified as more invaders descended from their ships. Kale did not retreat. He moved with precision, deflecting energy blasts, striking with incredible accuracy, and protecting those around him. Each motion was purposeful, each action deliberate. He was not just fighting. He was orchestrating the defense, turning the tide against a force that had threatened to overwhelm them. Ilara followed him as best she could, keeping behind his shield. She saw the city guards rallying, inspired by Kale's skill and calmness. Even those who had doubted his abilities now fought with renewed courage, their movements more coordinated, their morale strengthened by the quiet human who refused to yield. At one point, an invader managed to slip past the main battle, aiming directly for Ilara. Kale reacted instantly. He moved between her and the attacker in a heartbeat, his blade cutting through the air with a bright streak of light. The intruder stumbled back, disarmed and defeated, while Kale's stance remained steady, controlled, almost serene. Ilara's heart pounded, a mix of fear and admiration. She realized that the man she had married was more than just strong. He was unflinching, unwavering in the face of danger. His silence had been a shield, his quiet nature a calm before a storm that now raged around them. The invaders, seeing their advance blocked and their forces faltering, began to retreat. Kyle did not chase them immediately. He ensured that every citizen was safe, that the wounded were attended to, and that no threat remained within the city. Only then did he sheath his blade, the hum of energy fading as he returned to his usual calm demeanor. Ilara stepped forward, reaching for him, her eyes wide with awe. "Kyle, you," she began, searching for words that could capture what she had just witnessed. He turned to her, expression gentle, as if nothing extraordinary had occurred. "I did what I must," he said simply. "Your safety, the city's safety, it is my responsibility." She took his hand, feeling the steady warmth and strength within it. "I knew you were capable," she admitted, "but I did not know this." Kyle smiled faintly, the kind of smile that conveyed understanding without arrogance. "Strength is not for showing. It is for protecting those who cannot defend themselves. That is why I keep it quiet until it is needed." Ilara felt a profound respect for him, deeper than admiration, deeper than love. She had married a quiet human, one who had seemed ordinary at first glance, yet now revealed a power and courage that few could match. She understood in that moment why he had been calm, why he had observed before acting. His strength was not in being seen. It was in being effective when the world required it. The aftermath of the battle was filled with gratitude and awe. Citizens and guards alike spoke of Kale's bravery, though he did not seek recognition. Ilara, however, saw beyond the skill. She saw the man who had acted not out of pride, but out of a sense of duty, loyalty, and love. The quiet human she had married had shown the world his true self, and in doing so had changed how her people viewed humans forever. That night, as the city recovered and the twin moons rose again, Ilara and Kale walked through the gardens together. The air was still and the city lights reflected gently on the water below. Ilara could not stop staring at him, at the calm strength that radiated even now, hours after the battle had ended. "You were amazing," she said softly, taking his hand. "I have never seen anything like it." Kale shook his head slightly, humility in his expression. "I only did what was necessary. Strength without purpose is meaningless. Protecting those who cannot protect themselves, that is what matters." Ilara felt a warmth spread through her chest, a mixture of love, pride, and deep respect. She had married a quiet human, expecting companionship and curiosity, but she had discovered far more. A man of courage, skill, and unwavering loyalty. The world could see his abilities now, but she knew the truth of him even better than anyone else. In the following days, life gradually returned to normal. The city rebuilt and Kale continued to integrate with her people, not as a warrior but as a protector and ally. Rumors of his skill spread, and humans gained newfound respect in alien society, not because of their rarity but because of the quiet human who had saved a city without seeking glory. Ilara watched him closely, learning again and again that strength could be quiet, courage could be hidden, and love could be profound in its simplicity. She had married a man who spoke little, yet had expressed more through his actions than words could ever convey. In her heart, she knew that the battle had been only the beginning. Kale's skills, his insight, and his quiet strength would shape the future, not just for them but for her people and beyond. The quiet human she had married had drawn his blade and revealed his power, and now the world knew what she had always understood, that true strength lies not in noise, but in purpose, loyalty, and the courage to act when it matters most. And as they walked beneath the twin moons, hand in hand, Ilara felt certain of one thing. She had married a human who was extraordinary, whose silence concealed a depth of power and honor that no one could ever take from him. The quiet man she loved was also the greatest protector she had ever known, and the journey of their lives together had only just begun. Ilara had lived her entire life surrounded by beauty and rules. Her city floated above the crystal blue oceans of her homeworld, its towers spiraling gracefully toward the sky, reflecting the sunlight like shards of diamond. She had been born into a noble family, one known for wisdom and service to the people, yet her heart often yearned for something more than the endless ceremonies, formal dances, and careful politics that filled her days. It was during one such ceremonial event that she first noticed him. Kyle. A human. Rare visitors from Earth were few and far between, and most carried themselves with loud gestures and endless chatter, attempting to impress or to claim influence. Not Kale. He moved with a quiet ease, his eyes observing everything but never intruding. His presence was calm, almost like the still waters beneath the city, and yet there was a weight to him, an unspoken strength that drew her gaze. The first conversation they had was brief. Kyle bowed politely as the humans were taught and spoke in careful, measured words. "It is an honor to meet you, Lady Ilara," he said, his voice soft yet steady. Ilara noted the subtle confidence behind the softness, the way his words were chosen not to dazzle but to convey respect. She found herself curious, and as the event continued, she sought him out again and again. Over weeks, Kale became a familiar figure in her life. He attended council meetings not as a participant but as an observer, learning about her people's ways. He asked questions that revealed genuine curiosity rather than idle interest. He noticed details others overlooked, the patterns of the crystal towers, the way certain officials always whispered before speaking publicly, even the way the wind carried scents of the ocean differently depending on the time of day. Ilara began to see something rare in him, a mind that observed before judging, a heart that measured thought with care. She, who was used to grand gestures and constant flattery, felt an unexpected ease around him. They walked together through gardens where the air smelled of salt and flowers, speaking of things far from politics, stories of human history, tales of distant worlds, and her own childhood memories. Kyle never dominated the conversation, but he listened, and that was enough for her. The idea of marriage came suddenly, though it was not forced. The council, impressed by Kale's demeanor and skill in diplomacy, suggested that a union might symbolize trust between humans and her people. Ilara did not oppose it, but she did not rush either. She watched him carefully, noting how he treated others with quiet respect, how he stood firm in disagreement without anger, and how even in large crowds, he never seemed lost or weak. When the day of the wedding arrived, Ilara felt a strange mixture of excitement and calm. She wore the ceremonial robes of her family, woven from shimmering fabrics that reflected the sunlight and moonlight alike. Kale stood opposite her, simple and unadorned, his human uniform crisp and clean. Yet there was a presence about him that commanded attention, not through display but through sheer stillness. The ceremony was long, as her people's traditions required, filled with chants and gestures that Kale followed with quiet precision. He did not falter, though some steps were unusual to him, and his respect for the process deepened her admiration. When the final words were spoken, and they were declared husband and wife, Ilara felt a curious warmth in her chest. She had chosen carefully, but in Kale's presence she felt that no choice could have been wiser. In the following days, their life together began simply. Kale adapted quickly, learning the rhythms of her city, understanding the language with remarkable speed, and engaging with her people in ways that surprised even the most skeptical council members. Ilara introduced him to her friends and family, and though some still eyed him with caution, most found themselves disarmed by his calm nature and quiet strength. Yet despite his seeming simplicity, Ilara noticed moments that hinted at a depth she could not yet understand. When walking through the training hall, she occasionally glimpsed him handling a blade with unusual precision. He moved through the motions as if in a dance, every strike deliberate, every block intentional. She asked once casually, "Were you trained as a warrior?" He only smiled faintly. "In my world, some things are learned to protect, not to impress." She accepted the answer at the time, though a small part of her mind remained alert. She did not press further, trusting that he would reveal what he wished in his own time. Humans were known for their stubborn honesty, and Kyle's silence suggested he waited for the right moment. One evening, the city was bathed in golden light as the twin suns began to set. Ilara and Kale walked along a balcony that overlooked the vast ocean below. The waters reflected the sky like molten gold, and a gentle wind played through her hair. "Do you ever feel out of place here?" she asked softly, turning to him. Kale looked out over the horizon, his expression calm, almost distant. "Sometimes," he admitted, "but I have learned that belonging is not about being the same as others. It is about standing by what you know is right and protecting those who matter." Ilara felt a shiver run down her spine, not of fear, but of recognition. This quiet human, whom she had married for love and curiosity, carried within him a strength that was steady, unwavering, and hidden. She found herself wondering what other secrets he held, What depths of skill and courage were yet to be revealed. Days passed peacefully, though the city buzzed with rumors. Some whispered about Kale's human nature, questioning whether he could truly understand their customs or protect their way of life. Ilara ignored the gossip, but she observed him closely, noting how he treated every challenge calmly, how he seemed to anticipate dangers others overlooked, and how he never hesitated when faced with even minor conflicts. It was during a formal training demonstration that Ilara first truly understood the edge of his abilities. The city's guards were practicing with advanced energy blades, moving with speed and precision that dazzled even seasoned observers. Kale watched silently from the side, his hands folded behind his back. When a senior guard challenged him to demonstrate, Kale took the blade with ease. He moved slowly at first, his form measured and precise. Then almost imperceptibly his movements quickened, each strike finding its mark with flawless accuracy. The guards around him paused, astonished at his skill. Ilara's heart pounded as she watched him, realizing that the man she had married was far more than quiet manners and calm words. He was a warrior, a protector, someone whose strength was both visible and invisible. Afterward, Kale returned the blade and bowed respectfully. "I hope I did not embarrass anyone," he said simply. The guards shook their heads in awe, and Ilara's admiration deepened. She had chosen a human for love, but she had gained a partner whose courage and skill inspired even the most elite of her people. That night, as they walked through the gardens beneath the twin moons, Ilara could not help but ask, "Why did you never show this before?" Kale looked at her, his dark eyes calm and steady. "Because some things are not meant to be shown until they are needed. Strength is not a gift to flaunt, but a responsibility to bear." Ilara felt a warmth in her chest. She had married a quiet human, expecting companionship and curiosity. And yet she had discovered something far greater. A man whose silence was not emptiness, but a depth of character that few could match. She did not know what challenges awaited them, but she trusted him completely, and in that trust, she found peace. As the night deepened and the city settled into quiet hums of energy and life, Ilara could not shake the feeling that Kyle's true self was still only partially revealed. Something in him was waiting for the right moment to emerge fully, a strength, a skill, a courage that would change everything. She did not fear it, but she could not help but anticipate it with a mixture of curiosity and awe. In the days that followed, their life continued with quiet routine. Kale engaged with her people, learned their ways, and continued to amaze those around him with his calm wisdom. Yet Ilara noticed moments when his eyes would flicker with sharp awareness, when his hands would move with subtle precision, or when his stance would shift slightly, ready for something unseen. Each time her heart beat faster, not with fear, but with anticipation. She had married a quiet human, she reminded herself. And now she knew there was far more to him than she had ever imagined. The city, her people, even the universe beyond their floating home, would one day see what she had already glimpsed. Kale's strength was patient, deliberate, and hidden, but it was real. And when the time came, it would change everything. For now, she watched him quietly, walking beside her under the twin moons, the faint glint of his blade at his side, a blade he rarely drew, but one that hinted at the power he carried within. And in her heart, Ilara knew that the quiet human she had married was no ordinary man. He was something extraordinary, and the world would soon see why.